Welcome back to my channel. How do you solve a ratio word problem, and why is it important to keep it proportional? Let's get into it right now.
It's like every day.
Let's take a read of our word problem for the week. At the hospital, the ratio is 4 nurses for every 12 patients. What is the ratio of nurses to patients? And if the nurse-patient ratio stays the same, how many nurses will be needed to take care of 24 patients? Okay, so at first we know that this is ratio, right? So it says 4 nurses for every 12 patients. Now this can be written as 4 to 12, 4 to 12, 4 to 12. There's 3 different ways to write your ratio, right? We're going to deal with this way, right? So 4 to 12. So the first question says, and let's number it number 1 for the first question. What is the ratio of nurses to patients? So if we have 4 nurses to patients, and that's very important actually, the order that they asked it, right? So they asked, what's the ratio of nurses to patients? You have to keep that proportional. Nurses was mentioned first and then patients. So 4 nurses for every 12. So you have to keep it in this order. So if there's 4 nurses for every 12 patients, then you can see that these two numbers, if you was looking at it in a fraction format, it has a common factor of 4, doesn't it? So if we was to divide 4 into this as a fraction, you would see that 4 goes into here once and 4 goes into 12 3 times. So the ratio is 1 to 3, right? So this is written as 1 to 3 after it's been simplified, right? So we've actually answered the first question already. What is the ratio of nurses to patients? It's 1 to 3. Okay, now let's go for the next question. If the nurse-patient ratio stays the same, right, let's number it number 2. Second part, if it stays the same, how many nurses will be needed to take care of 24 patients? So once again, we still have the same ratio, nurse to patients, and 24 patients. If we put 24 on this side, you have to make it proportional and keep the same proportion, right? Keep the same ratio as you go along. So if it's 24 patients, then the question is how many nurses, right? Well, there's 2 ways to do this, isn't there? So the first way is if we keep the first ratio as 4 to 12, and we go along with the 4 times table on this side and a 12 times table on this side, what's the next number in the 4 times table? 4, 8. And what's the next number in the 12 times tables? 12, 24. So here you can see already that we've got the answer then, right? So the answer will be 8 nurses to 24 patients. Another way that you could do it is if you use this ratio, right? If you use nurse to patients as 1 to 3, the other way you can do it is if you know that the patient ratio was 24, you can say to yourself, okay, what 1 times what is 3, and what times 3 is 24. So you're keeping the multiplied by 3 pattern, right? So 1 times 3, 1 times what is 3? So that would be times 3, wouldn't it? So 1 times 3 is 3, and you would keep the times 3 in proportion at the bottom too. So what times 3 is 24? 8. So either strategy, you'd still get the answer of 8. So how many nurses will be needed to take care of 24 patients? 8 nurses. Once you know your multiplication tables, that leads you to common factors, that leads you to solving ratios and keeping them proportional. Like, comment, and subscribe with that notification bell so you know every time I upload, which is every Wednesday. And I will see you next time in another math video. Thank you for watching. Class dismissed.